Hello, Manchester City fans. If you're always looking to stay up to date with the latest news and updates about the city, you know what to do. Hit that like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to stay updated with everything happening at the club. Now, let's get straight to the topics that are shaking up Manchester City. Recently, Manchester City has been accused of serious financial violations, which has caused quite a stir not only among the club's supporters but throughout European football. In February 2023, the Premier League made heavy allegations against City, claiming that the club breached financial fair play rules during the period from 2009 to 2018. What's being investigated? In short, the club may have manipulated its payments and revenues, especially in sponsorship contracts, and even involved third parties to mask the actual income. The impact of this could be huge. If Manchester City is found guilty, the consequences could directly affect the club, but also other Premier League teams and even European clubs, such as Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham, and Manchester United, who are already preparing to seek financial compensation. That's right. If City is found guilty, these clubs could demand compensation for financial losses caused by these alleged actions. And not only that, the impact could go even further, as teams from outside of England could also join this movement, claiming that City's behavior has financially harmed them. The situation was already tense, but the consequences could be even more dramatic. After all, Manchester City could even face relegation to the Championship, as suggested in previous reports. But despite all this turmoil, the club has remained firm and has always asserted its innocence, vowing to appeal any possible punishment that may be imposed. This shows that, despite the allegations, the club strongly believes that its actions are justifiable. Now, the big question that hangs in the air is what will happen to City in the coming months. A transfer ban, which would prevent the club from signing new players, has been cited as one of the possible sanctions if City is found guilty. And the most interesting part is that, despite this turbulent situation, Manchester City has not stopped moving in the transfer market. In January, the club made some significant acquisitions, such as Omar Marish, Abdulkadir Kusanov, V. Rees, and Nick Gonzalez, spending a total of $10 million in the winter window. Curious, right? How can the club keep making investments while it's still at the center of this financial crisis? In terms of the future, City has also made some strategic moves. Pep Guardiola's contract was extended until 2027, ensuring the continuity of the manager's work, and the giant Erling Haaland also renewed until 2034, which undoubtedly shows a long-term commitment to the club's success, both on and off the pitch. But what about you, City fan? What do you think of all this? Do you think the club's confidence in its signings and contract renewals is a sign that Manchester City's future is more secure than it seems? Or do you think the club is taking too many risks? I'd love to hear your opinion. Leave your comment below and let's have a chat about this. Now, while Manchester City is dealing with off-field issues, the situation on the pitch is also intense. The team has been facing some difficulties in recent months, but what caught the most attention was how the club maintained its signings during the period of uncertainty. If the team is to follow a path to success, it's crucial that they maintain this pace of reinforcements. However, a transfer ban could drastically change the game. Meanwhile, Manchester City is preparing for a big challenge in the Champions League against Real Madrid. Guardiola's side will face a version of Real Madrid quite different from what we are used to seeing. The Spanish team is dealing with considerable defensive problems ahead of the much-anticipated clash. Dani Carvajal and Eder Militão have been out for some time, and recently Antonio Rudiger and David Alaba also got injured, which only increases the concerns for Real Madrid. With so many absences, coach Carlo Ancelotti will need to make do with the limited options he has for his defense. Initially, Lucas Vázquez was set to play at right back, but he too suffered a muscle injury, ruling him out of the game against Manchester City. This leaves the defensive options even more restricted. Aurélien Tchouameni, a midfielder, and young defender Rosendo are expected to fill in at the back, while Fran Garcia may continue at left back. The big challenge will be forming a defensive line that can cope with the attacking power of Manchester City, which has been a goal-scoring machine, especially with Haaland's presence. Of course, Real Madrid's attack remains one of the most feared in the world, with players like Jude Bellingham and Kylian Mbappé shining in recent matches. However, the team will need more than just a powerful attack to overcome the defensive obstacles they will face. Ancelotti has already acknowledged the difficulties the team is having in defense, and the injuries to Rudiger and Alaba have only increased this challenge. Both are expected to return at the end of February, which would see them back in time for the second leg at the Bernabeu. But until then, Madrid will have to reinvent themselves to face City and Manchester. Manchester City has been facing a series of challenges in recent months, both on and off the pitch. However, looking at Guardiola's team, it is clear that the winning mentality and strategies remain strong regardless of external difficulties. And now, with a crucial clash against Real Madrid, expectations are that City will continue to prove themselves a sharp attacking machine. Erling Haaland, the giant striker, is the star player, and his performances in recent seasons have been impressive. The top scorer is one of the biggest fears for any defense, and with Real Madrid's defensive crisis, he could be the decisive factor for City to gain a significant advantage in the first leg of the Champions League. Alongside Haaland, City boasts a dynamic midfield, led by Kevin De Bruyne, who remains one of the key players in orchestrating offensive plays. However, Manchester City's biggest challenge, even with such a potent attack, will be to exploit the gaps in Real Madrid's defense, which, with so many injuries, may struggle to maintain solidity. Guardiola knows this and will certainly adjust his strategy to make the most of any defensive flaws from the Madrid side. On the other hand, Real Madrid has players of the highest level, and even with a compromised defense, they are always a threat offensively. Jude Bellingham and Kylian Mbappé have shown excellent chemistry and an impressive ability to decide matches. Manager Carlo Ancelotti will need to get the most out of these two players, as well as try to reorganize the defense creatively to minimize the damage that an inspired Haaland could cause. With the high number of injuries that Real Madrid is facing, Ancelotti's team will need to reinvent itself. The absence of Lucas Vázquez, who would have been an option for right-back, complicates matters further for Real, and this could be fertile ground for City's attack to exploit. Ferland Mendy, who may be shifted to the right, does not have the same defensive reliability as Vázquez, which could make Madrid's defense even more vulnerable. It is interesting to see how Ancelotti's limited options and Guardiola's strengths will meet in this big game. City arrives with a full squad and great confidence, while Real Madrid will need a lot of creativity to cope with their absences. Now, as Manchester City prepares for this titanic clash, it is important to highlight that, despite external difficulties, the team continues to move in the transfer market, making important decisions to further strengthen their squad. In January, Guardiola brought reinforcements to the team, including young Omar Marish and promising Nick Gonzalez, as well as Abdulkadir Kusanov and V. Riz, who have much to contribute to the club's future. These investments in new players are part of a clear strategy. City is looking to not only maintain its competitive strength, but also expand its options, ensuring a more robust squad for the challenges ahead. However, the situation of some Manchester City players still raises some uncertainty. Goalkeeper Ederson, for example, is recovering and has missed some important matches, including the defeat to Arsenal. This is a concern for some fans, as Ederson's presence is crucial for securing the goal. However, Stefan Ortega, the backup goalkeeper, has been holding the fort, and fans hope that, should Ederson not be fully recovered in time, the team will manage to move forward without major issues. Another important point is the absence of Jeremy Doku, who was expected to return for a match against Arsenal but ended up missing out due to physical problems. He was also not included for the FA Cup clash, not to mention the recovery of Nathan Ake and the slight delay in Oscar Bob's return, who is still seeking his first appearance of the season. However, despite these absences, Guardiola's team is preparing well for the big challenge. And the recent contract extension for Pep Guardiola until 2027 is a clear sign that the club has confidence in his long-term project, not only for the current season but for the future. This is proof that, even in the face of financial adversity and squad issues, Manchester City continues to look ahead with ambition. Speaking of the future, Manchester City is eyeing big stars to reinforce their squad, especially for the 2025-26 season. The club is heavily investing in two players from Bayer Leverkusen, Florian Wirtz, and Jeremy Frimpong. It is estimated that City is willing to pay around $170 million for these two players, showing the club's commitment to maintaining its dominance in the Premier League and European competitions. Florian Wirtz is considered one of the best attacking midfielders in Europe, and his addition to City's squad would be a major move for the future. His vision, passing ability, and goal-scoring capacity make him a key piece for Guardiola's playing system. Wirtz has also been excelling in his career at Bayer Leverkusen, and his arrival at City could bring a new level of creativity to the midfield. Jeremy Frimpong, a dynamic and fast right-back, would also be a great addition to the squad. The player has already been through City's academy, but moved to Celtic before shining at Leverkusen. Now he is being watched by big clubs, including City, which sees him as a promising talent to strengthen the defense. Furthermore, Kyle Walker's future at Manchester City is increasingly uncertain, and Frimpong's arrival could be a strategic alternative for the right side of the defense. Of course, City is not alone in this race. Arsenal, Liverpool, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and Paris Saint-Germain are also competing for these players. However, Manchester City, with its financial power and long-term vision, has a strong chance of securing these signings, which would be crucial in further strengthening the squad. Manchester City has been facing an off-field battle that could directly impact its future in football. The Premier League's accusation of potential breaches of financial fair play rules between 2009 and 2018 has caused significant tension within the club. The investigation involves claims that City may have manipulated revenues by channeling payments through third parties, including sponsorship contracts. This has created an atmosphere of uncertainty, not only regarding possible sanctions, but also concerning the implications for upcoming seasons. The accusations place the club in a delicate situation, as if City is found guilty, it could be relegated to the Championship, one of the most severe punishments that could be imposed. Although the club maintains its innocence, it is important to highlight that the Independent Commission, which reviewed the case between September and December 2023, is still deliberating on the decision. The pressure for City to be held accountable is growing, especially with clubs like Arsenal, Liverpool, and Manchester United already positioning themselves to seek financial compensation if it is proven that any infraction harmed other teams financially. The impact of a potential relegation or severe sanctions would not only be sporting but also financial, directly affecting the club's transfer plans. This could influence the continuation of negotiations for players such as Florian Wirtz and Jeremy Frimpong. Despite this, City continues to make big moves in the transfer market, as though nothing is hindering them, reinforcing the idea that the club is confident in its ability to remain competitive despite external adversities. In times of crisis, one of a club's greatest assets is the leadership of its manager, and at Manchester City, Pep Guardiola has shown an unwavering commitment to the cause. His contract renewal until 2027 is a clear sign that the club trusts him to continue his work and tackle the challenges that arise, both on and off the pitch. Guardiola is the type of manager who knows how to handle external pressures, turning them into motivation for his players. Despite a period of instability, City has shown on the pitch that it is a well-drilled team, prepared to fight for titles, not just in the Premier League, but also in the Champions League, which has been the club's main objective in recent years. Guardiola's trust in his squad, even with financial pressure and potential sanctions, has been a stabilizing factor for the team. His ability to set tactical schemes that exploit the weaknesses of opponents is a key differentiator, and his role will be crucial, not only to continue winning titles, but also to ensure that the team's morale remains high during uncertain times. On Erling Haaland's future at City. Erling Haaland is undoubtedly one of the greatest goal scorers in modern football and the main force behind Manchester City's offensive power. His arrival at the club was a landmark moment, and his adaptation to Guardiola's style of play has been quick and impressive. Haaland has been a key player in City's victorious campaigns, particularly in competitions such as the Premier League and the Champions League. However, with increasing pressure for City to win the Champions League, the responsibility on Haaland's shoulders grows with every game. The expectation that he will be the player to finally bring the coveted Champions League trophy to City is immense. And with that, the pressure to stay healthy and in form becomes crucial. The absence of Ederson, one of the pillars of the defense, and the instability in certain areas of the squad further intensify the load on the striker. Nevertheless, Haaland has shown a focused and ambitious mindset. His numbers speak for themselves, and he continues to be one of the greatest fears for opposing defenses. His hard work, commitment to collective success, and goal-scoring ability make him one of the best players today. Another key player at Manchester City is Kevin De Bruyne. The Belgian, known for his exceptional vision, has been the key to the team's creativity. His ability to control the rhythm of the game and provide quality assists is essential to Guardiola's style of play, and he remains one of the best midfielders in the world. However, De Bruyne's time at City is nearing its end, as his contract is approaching expiration. This is where the importance of young talents, such as the aforementioned Florian Wirtz, comes into play, as he could be the natural successor to De Bruyne in midfield. The transition to the next generation of stars is a challenge for any club, but City has shown that it is ready to handle it. The presence of players like Jack Grealish, Phil Foden, and Bernardo Silva, along with reinforcements like Wirtz, ensures that the team will remain competitive for many years to come. De Bruyne, being a crucial figure, still has much to offer, but the renewal of the squad with young talents will be key to ensuring that Manchester City remains relevant and continues to fight for major titles, even when the club's great legends begin to retire. Meanwhile, Manchester City continues its journey in the Premier League, always with eyes on the top of the table. The battle for leadership against clubs like Arsenal and Liverpool has never been easy, and City knows that any slip-up could be fatal in such a balanced competition. The season is unfolding with surprises, and City will need to maintain its consistency to keep its chances of securing another Premier League title alive. Additionally, the team has clear ambitions to win the Champions League, something that has eluded them in recent seasons. The draw against Real Madrid brings this issue to the forefront, with the expectation that City will finally be able to overcome the top teams in Europe to achieve the desired title. The season is far from over, and there is still much to be decided, both in the league and in European competitions. Now that we've covered all the transfer market movements, legal issues, and expectations for the future of Manchester City, the big question remains: will City be able to overcome its external and internal obstacles? The team has the tools to achieve great feats, and Pep Guardiola, along with the club's structure, remains the key to their success. Now, Manchester City fan, we'd love to hear your opinion. How do you see the future of City in international competitions and the Premier League? Do you think the financial sanctions will have a significant impact on the team's performance? And what about the transfer moves and the future of players like Haaland and De Bruyne? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And, of course, if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with all the latest news about Manchester City. A big hug, and see you in the next video.